Hey, welcome back to A Song Between. Today we're talking about happiness. Can we pursue happiness during a pandemic like this? Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone. This is A Song Between, a ministry of New Valley Downtown in Phoenix. We're a church. My name is Gray Ewing. I am a pastor of that church, and just excited to have you today on our journey through Psalms 120 through 134. These are meant to be daily encouragements to you to be in God's Word, and for all of us who go to this church and anybody that wants to follow along, to also be on the same page together during this season when we can't meet together as a church. So I hope that you're staying encouraged. I hope that you're staying safe out there. We've got a great psalm this morning. Psalm 128 is about happiness. It's about blessedness. And so how can we have blessedness, happiness during a pandemic? We're going to look at that together. I want to take just a moment to have some silence so that we can prepare our hearts to hear the word of the Lord. So let's be quiet before Him now. A Song of Ascents. Blessed is everyone who fears the Lord, who walks in His ways. You shall eat the fruit of the labor of your hands. You shall be blessed, and it shall be well with you. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine within your house. Your children will be like olive shoots around your table. Behold, thus shall the man be blessed who fears the Lord. The Lord bless you from Zion. May you see the prosperity of Jerusalem all the days of your life. May you see your children's children. Peace be upon Israel. Today we're talking about happiness or blessedness, and sometimes Christians like to use those terms in different ways, but actually Scripture uses them interchangeably. To say blessed is the man, like Psalm 1 says, or here in Psalm 128, blessed is everyone who fears the Lord. When they say blessed, they just mean happy, full of joy. And so we don't need to say that there's a difference between happiness and joy and blessedness. Those three terms can mean the same thing. And really, it gets at the heart of what we all want. Who among us doesn't want a happy life, a fulfilling life, one that is meaningful? A lot of times as Christians, sometimes we downplay that and we say things like, well, life is suffering, and the Scriptures promise suffering if you're a Christian, and therefore, you shouldn't try to be too happy in this world. You should wait till heaven to be happy. Now, there's some truth that hides a bigger problem with those statements. The truth of this: there is suffering in this life. There is guaranteed suffering. You will suffer. And it is also true that the future state of glory with God forever is way beyond anything that we could have now. And yet it is not true to say that Christianity means that you shouldn't pursue a happy life. Scriptures are filled with people pursuing God and the happy life at the same time, because as we're going to see today, the two are interchangeable. To have a blessed life is to walk with the Lord, is the one who fears the Lord. So what are the components of a happy life? The way that the psalm lays it out, it says, first of all, that fear of the Lord brings this blessedness. Secondly, it says hard work brings this blessedness. Thirdly, a thriving family brings joy and happiness. And fourth, old age. These are the things that often bring joy to people. And it's just true. Common grace. As we see in Scripture, we see our lives, oftentimes they line up. And there's a common grace here. Happiness is found in these things. First, the fear of the Lord. And maybe you're wondering, that's a funny way to start, to have the fear of the Lord to lead to blessedness. How does that work? Well, think about it this way. How is it that we know what to do with our lives? How is it that we know which way to follow? I think about our little puppy that I've referenced here before. We have a 20-week-old puppy, and he is most happy when he has a job from me. So if I'm not telling him what to do, we've trained him in such a way that he doesn't know what to do when he doesn't have a job, if he's not in his place, or he's not in his crate, or he's not catching a ball. When he's just alone and he doesn't know what to do, he's not as happy. He thrives when his master says to him, "This is the way. Do this thing now." And in the same way, I don't know why I'm always comparing us to pets and dogs. In some ways, we have a master, right? Just like the Lord is our master. And when we walk in his way, when we fear him, it actually leads to a great sense of joy and happiness because we know what to do with our lives. Have you ever met someone? Have you ever been this person who doesn't know what to do with their life? Do they have a lot of joy? No, oftentimes they fall in line with someone else and they listen to someone else, maybe even someone dangerous who says, you should live this way. But see, with the Lord, he is good. And when we follow him, we follow his way, we actually thrive. The second thing is hard work. You shall eat the fruit of the labor of your hands. What is more satisfying than a job well done? That's the thing that many people try to avoid with their lives, but actually the scripture says hard work brings satisfaction and joy. Third, a thriving family. A wife or a husband, as the case may be, who is like a fruitful vine. Children who are like olive shoots. What does that mean? It means they're contributing. A fruitful vine, olive shoots, they have this produce. Their lives are not just dull. They produce things and they make beautiful things and they serve, and that's a thriving family. Finally, old age. May you see your children's children, he says in verse 6. Oh, what happiness would it be to see not just your children grow up healthy and happy, but to see your grandchildren. This is often the joy of those who are older. So I'm told that this is one of the joys of life that people have. The scriptures in no way command us to have a sour or negative outlook on life. In fact, when things around us are so hard with this pandemic taking over our world, now is the perfect time for us to know where happiness lies in a human sense. But we do need to say one important caveat before we close today. There is a difference when the scripture talks about these things between a promise and a prayer. A promise says this is going to be absolutely true of you no matter what. And it is not true of us that all of us will see old age or to see our children's children. It's not true of us of all of us that we will have satisfying work in our lives or a family that is put together. The scriptures do not promise that. This is not a promise from the psalmist in Psalm 128. Rather, it is a prayer. Do you notice the language that he uses? May you see the prosperity. May you see your children's children. That's a prayer. Wouldn't it be good to see this? And you pray to the Lord that he would help you to have this happy life. The truth is, there is suffering out there, and there is an amount of suffering that is allotted to all of us. Some of it great and some of it small. But in the meantime, there is nothing wrong with pursuing happiness, as long as you see that happiness at its base comes from the fear of the Lord. It doesn't come from endless pleasure. It doesn't come from doing what you want to do all the time when you want to do it. It only comes from the things that he has given us, the gifts, his way, his approach to family, his approach to hard work, his joys in seeing children grow older. These are the things that he has given to us to enjoy.